Cable Bahamas has always been considered the innovator.
People can have confidence in Cable Bahamas as a mobile operator because of our past history. We've proven to the Bahamian community that we are in fact able to manage additional services as a telecommunications company.
Customers expect the best from Cable Bahamas.
The technology that we bring is revolutionary technology because we know that the Bahamian public, they deserve it, and Cable Bahamas is here to bring it to them.
We are ready. Turn us on.
In the wake of the Rubis Fuel Leak, government introduces a new environmental bill, but many in the Marathon area are still concerned. Outrage over the dancing at a youth culture festival event. Carnival officials say this weekend's event will go on, rain or shine. Plus, the health minister confirms nearly everything is up and running at the critical care block. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NV12 starts right now. News tonight, the Ministry of the Environment and Housing last night released the draft Environmental Planning Protection Bill 2015, which is designed to increase environmental protection and oversight throughout the Bahamas. But with many residents of Marathon still upset over the Rubis fuel spill and the slew of unanswered questions, is this new environmental bill coming a bit too late? Kyle Joaquin reports.
This right here is just one of 9 test wells dug in the yard of Pick and Pay. Now, this business stands exactly across the street from the Rubis service station at the center of the controversy. Now, the owner of this business says since these wells were dug in 2013, she has yet to hear exactly what was found in these wells.
Pick and Pay has been sitting along Robinson Road for 12 years now, and owner Jardel Roberts just wants to know what she should be doing as a business owner in the wake of the Rubis fuel spill ordeal. During the early months of 2013, she said 9 wells were dug in the yard of her business by people testing for gasoline underground. But now she says it's been about a year since anyone has come to check. She said there are even days when they can smell fumes coming from the wells.
In the initial stages, they were here just about every day. And maybe in the last year, they have not been here on premises.
The government has apologized for withholding the findings of a Black and Veatch report which showed that residents near the Robinson Road service station may have been exposed to harmful chemicals. While many residents left Monday's town meeting upset, Roberts said she was just glad to get more information.
Not only the town meeting on Monday, but the town meeting previously, we were able to get the report and actually look and see exactly what is going on here on these premises.
The ordeal has prompted government to expedite a new environmental bill. The draft Environmental Planning and Protection Bill 2015 indicates stiffer penalties for environmental infractions and also mandates that members of the public be alerted to environmental accidents that may adversely affect their health. Under this bill, where there occurs an environmental accident or emergency, or where there is potential for an environmental accident or emergency, those responsible must notify the Department of Environmental Health Services as soon as possible. They must also take all reasonable measures consistent with the protection of the environment and human health and safety to prevent, repair, mitigate, or reduce the adverse effects of the incident, and make a reasonable effort to notify any member of the public who may be adversely affected by the incident. Roberts told NB12 that since the spill, several customers have come in to ask if it's even safe to come in the store. She's now hired an attorney and said what she'd like to see most is justice for the residents of Marathon.
Not even just here for the Marathon people, but for any particular area where the gas stations are. And if this type of accident or incident should happen there, that they would be properly informed.
Under this new bill, anyone who knowingly or negligently provides false information to the department or contravenes any provision of this act or of the regulations would commit an offense and is liable to a fine not exceeding $100,000 or a prison term not exceeding 1 year, or both. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
The Christie administration is a government of apologies, according to opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis, who charged the Bahamian people should not accept government's apology for the delay in releasing the report into the Rubis fuel leak. Minnis dubbed the Christie administration uncaring and questioned what else this government will apologize for. He also criticized the timing of plans to introduce a new environmental bill.
You sat on all this information and now you apologize? How do you apologize? This is a government of apology. You apologize with the referendum. You apologize to the people. You're apologizing for the crime. You promise a solution for crime. You're going to apologize there. Are you apologizing for Brave Davis, who had misled us in Parliament? Are you apologizing there? Are you going to apologize for Alfred Gray, who had called a member of the judiciary in case of a legal matter? Are you apologizing there?
On Monday, Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson apologized on behalf of government for not releasing a report on the Rubis fuel leak sooner. Minnis labeled that apology overdue and said it's time to move away from uncaring politicians. He suggested those who voted for the PLP in the last general election may be regretting their decision and are looking to correct their choice in the next election.
Many people today are saying, we apologize to you for voting for the PLP. When you apologize, you do better. Those people who apologize to us and others who did not vote for the PLP are waiting their opportunity to do right.
And as for government's plans to introduce a new bill that will enhance environmental protection, Minnis said if government really cared, it would have done this sooner.
It's more than a knee-jerk reaction. Are they serious? They had the report for over a year. If they were concerned, would they not have done this over a year? Don't come a year later and tell me, because it's now out, that you're going to introduce legislation. What happened a year ago?
The opposition leader said the Bahamian people need a caring, responsible, and proactive government, not an inefficient and slow government that hides information. He said the country must do better, adding, we cannot continue to have a government of apologies.
If they accept their apology, what happens? They continue to do wrong and they continue to apologize. We can no longer accept a government of apology. We want a government of action, a caring government, not a government of reaction, not a non-caring government, not an apologetic government, believing that the people will accept my apology. And once they accept, I'm back to my old habits. Do wrong again and apologize.
After a video made the rounds on social media of young girls dancing lewdly on the Youth Culture Fest parade this past weekend, Creative Director of Youth Culture Fest, Dr. Ann Higgins, is defending her position and said it was sickening to see those actions on the parade. Simone Davis reports.
Dr. Ann Higgins said despite the inaugural Youth Culture Fest being a success, there was still some issues and backlash the commission had to deal with, like this video that turned heads across the country. After the video went viral, many Bahamians took to their Facebook pages to voice their opinions, like this woman who wrote, "It's disgusting. Maybe they were doing it in school, but it still doesn't make it right, especially in public with an adult." And another one wrote, "This is a joke, right? What kind of mess is this?" However, Dr. Higgins said the provocative dancing by the young girls was completely inappropriate and distracted people from the purpose of the parade, which was to showcase Bahamian culture through costumes. However, she said the lewd dancing was all a spontaneous act by that group.
It was really heart-sickening for me to see that, number one, an adult would have a child doing it on a parade that was not called for. This was not a parade of dancing and vulgarity. This was a parade to display the beautiful indigenous costumes in our country. And it's so sad because here it is, we have over 2,000 children that paraded so beautiful. To have one incident discourage a whole group. And not only that, going on social media, for people who were not there would have thought that the whole parade was consisting of it.
Back in January, Christian Council President Ranford Patterson spoke out against the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival while expressing concerns that the festival could lead to fornication, promiscuity, rape, incest, and sins of the flesh. Dr. Higgins says this incident has pushed the commission to strictly enforce the rules and regulations of the Youth Culture Fest parade. She also said that the marshals seen in the video would no longer be allowed to participate in any Youth Culture Fest parades in the future.
It's a lesson learned that next year we will choose our own marshals. As to what we had done was give each group 10 shirts that they will choose who they would have marshal their parade. But we won't make that mistake next year. We will choose the marshalling, because whoever they give the T-shirts to, we don't know. And then we will also be very careful to really implement the rules that we had already implemented. And if it happens, we will take them off the parade. We will not tolerate young children being led in that type of vulgarity. No way.
But it wasn't long before the group marshal tried to defend herself on social media after all the backlash and wrote a message on her own Facebook page, claiming that her own daughter was in the video and all of the students are on the honor roll. Dr. Higgins said she believes the worst part about the situation is that there were no apologies or regrets expressed over the incident, and she finds it very sad.
And it's so sad that there's no apologies, no regret. And that's the sad part. We cannot control people in their homes or what they do with their children. And it's so sad. And this is why we work with children, and we work with them in a sense that they can know the difference between that which is immoral and that which is moral.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
The North Eleuthera Airport had to be closed and a few Harbor Island residents evacuated from their homes after a day of steady rainfall left some parts severely flooded. North Eleuthera MP Theo Neely told NB12 NEMA flew out to his constituency today to survey the damage.
Going in on a helicopter into North Eleuthera Airport. Unfortunately, the airport is also closed as well. Due to rain, it's in a flood area. Unfortunately, that's an area that's usually saturated, not typically with smaller storms, but it happens to in major hurricanes and major tropical storms. So right now the airport is still currently closed as well, basically parts of the runway being flooded and the main apron being flooded at this time.
The flooding was limited to Harbor Island and a few spots around North Eleuthera, with some areas having water as deep as 4 or 5 feet. One such area is Harbor Island's Alice Street. Neely said several homes were damaged and about 3 families lost everything they had.
About 10 homes extensively damaged, and the apartment complex at the lower level as well damaged. So the concentration of the flooding in North Eleuthera, mostly in Harbor Island. There's some smaller flooding going on, or that have been on the mainland as well. It's mostly roof damage through leaking roofs, and certainly a concern for the residents in North Eleuthera, but the major concern that I have now and the people in North Eleuthera concentrates on Harbor Island.
Neely said he is in contact with officials on the ground in his constituency and is scheduled to arrive there himself tomorrow morning.
I'm actually heading in the morning back to North Eleuthera. NEMA's heading in today. I'll be going by boat. The airport's still closed, but I'll go by the fast ferry tomorrow and be able to get there at Alice Street area.
In a statement, the Ministry of Financial Services and local government confirmed a team has been dispatched to survey and assess the flood-damaged areas, and they are being assisted by the U.S. Coast Guard. Meanwhile, the airport at North Eleuthera has closed temporarily due to flooding until further notice. The statement said initial assessments reveal about 7 homes were flooded, while 2 homes in Upper Bogue are said to be underwater. The Department of Social Services is assisting families. The statement added residents in the flood-impacted areas are being strongly advised to keep out of the standing water as it may be contaminated due to overflowing septic tanks as a result of the flood. There's more news after the break, so stay with us.